Hello, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying learning Falco more. I did my first ledge dash with enough Galint with him to actually do something the other day. That felt really good. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I was fighting a Samus, so I ledge dashed on stage into a down air, into a short up down air, and I was able to cleave through the missile and then hit her and then combo her, and I was like, yes, let's go. Broken stuff. And then,
Yeah. Meanwhile, after playing this character for Marth for I don't know how many years, I saw three Glint for the first time, or not three, but any Glint.
you were like, oh my god, I can get my rollout? This is
Yeah.
crazy! That's funny. Honestly, it's weird. It's weird because I feel like with Ness, you just wind up taking whatever you can get. It's not good. It's just it is what it is. You take a very it is what it is mentality to that character because you have to. But then I'm with Falco and I'm like, ew, 8. I'm only 8. Meanwhile, if with the other one, I'd be like, I have 8. I have 5. Oh my god, I can get up till 10. That's crazy. Anywho, so what's on the docket today? What are your how's your improvement going? I know that when we've been talking recently, we have been looking at I think we looked at floaties among other things. Yeah. So I'm just curious, how's that been going?
It's been going well.
Tournament?
Yeah, I played on a tournament in Wednesday, and it was I played against a Peach player, and I think I was having a bit of controller issues, but was able to beat them. We kind of have I've played him before a couple times, and we have pretty spaghetti sets. I've yet to lose to this Peach player, but I kind of stopped playing the game as much to my benefit. I think especially versus Peach, just realizing how you can just default to kind of spamming fair, and their life is hell pretty much trying to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I played two Fox players, and they're both extremely good. I would say like top 100 level or just beneath that. So kind of got I had some very good stretches versus them, but both of them whenever I play either of these Fox players, I feel I get absolutely mollywop game one, and then I kind of adjust to the speed, and then kind of I find that I stop swinging as much after that first game, and then I can kind of have competitive games with them, but it's just avoiding the little mistakes because they just kill you the second they hit me, and I'm
Okay.
dropping combos.
So perhaps so there's a few directions we can take to look into this. Do you happen to have the game the VODs or anything, or no?
I've been poking around. I think it was the Slippy replays were recorded, but it was just a did yesterday. So
Okay, so they're just not up yet. Do you
but
have Sorry, go
I
ahead.
do have a yeah. I think there is a VOD of me versus um this Fox player, but it's kind of old. So my approach might be a little different now, but
That's okay. Again, I think that so there's 3 directions I think that we can look at this. One, we can look to either strengthen up your neutral so that you don't get hit as much, and so you present a sturdier beginning.
mhm.
The only thing that might be difficult with that is that if we don't have the VODs themselves, it's going to be difficult to know what area of neutral we're having trouble with, Um,
Mhm.
because you're saying that you swing a lot, but some of the swings you're doing are probably necessary in order to establish defense.
Yeah,
And I need to know which ones are good and which ones are not good. So that might be tricky. The
yeah,
other one that makes sense would be to me would just be offense and defense, i.e. punish game, how do we kill, but we've done a lot of work on punish games. I think the third one I think that might make more sense would be defense, i.e. where do we DI, what positions are good for us to shoot for when we're getting hit around, stuff like that.
mhm. I mean, on the like swinging topic, I think like the biggest difference between like this VOD that's like a month old and like now is like I think like when we first started like talking about Nair and like how I would go about using it, um I would kind of just spam it in neutral and then like get punished for doing it. Obviously. And I think versus Fox specifically, like there's like between what we've talked about and like how I've talked to like other like good Marth about it and kind of just like wrapping my head like because I noticed some Marth players in my area are like using Nair very well and I was just trying to poke their brains about it and like really kind of like using it in like only kind of close range situations and like using it to really catch Fox's jump, which I know we've spoken about before.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just like having like Nair is like my short range option and then like Fair is kind of like the long range like go to like defensive aerial. Like really uh has been kind of working for me. Um so yeah, I would say that's the biggest difference. But I do have a VOD from when I played this Fox a while ago.
Yeah, let's take a look at that because I think that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like yeah, if we can take a look at the because do you think that your defense has changed, like how you get like how you DI and stuff?
No, probably not.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like defense is like the one area we haven't really like covered all that much. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's I also might have like let me check the my Slippy folder. I might also have like
I
a
mean,
replay of but yeah, I mean like
we've
with
got this.
defense,
It's
like,
fine.
okay, cool.
Yeah, like let's not like I don't want us to be. This is time that we could be like figuring things out. If you think that the Slippy VOD like playback will be useful, like we can definitely do that. But I think that I think that this is okay. Like how old is this? How old is this anyway?
I think probably
A month. A month is fine.
okay.
Like yeah. So let's see here. So let's talk about what happens here. So you get hit off stage, and like what's the first thing I'm gonna say?
I stopped doing this.
Okay. So no panic jump. So what do like?
Yeah.
Let's say you do panic jump because you're DIing. Because what could we do instead?
I guess if I'm in that bad of a position,
Is this that bad of a position?
I feel like if I'm up there, like I jump at that specific spot, trying to like get, I'm like just praying that they'll just like miss and I get the platform or something. Like I feel like I feel like I get blown up for jumping there versus every character, like every time versus somebody who's good.
Okay, so like we've gone up here,
Mm-hmm.
and if will we make it to the stage if we go full forward? I think so with our double jump, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm not saying like let's pretend the fox isn't here. From this starting point, if we just go full forward, we make it to the stage, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one thing I'm wondering about is why are we side Bing? What is the side B meant to do?
My I guess naive hope is that they just jump into it. But yeah, there's no I feel like good purpose of trying to do it there.
Well, you're trying to go over the back air, right?
Mm.
Okay, so why not air dodge? Doesn't that do a better job of like doing that?
Yeah.
Because then you can also aim it here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is an option we need to be aware of, air dodge.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have this one. After that one, what's another thing we could do? Like, we're jumping forward, we're coming forward. We know he's basically going to back air here 10 out of 10 times. Like, do you think it's a pretty safe assumption he's going to back air, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, when we started going down this like path, like air dodge was the first thing that kind of came to my mind as like a good option there. The second thing I thought of was counter.
I love counter. I think counter makes sense. Where do you think we place it? Like, if this is when we input it, where do we do it?
Probably like at his little Kezbot tag.
Like here?
Maybe a little higher. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we actually do it a little lower for one reason.
Really?
Remember, counter can't be fast fault. So, like, we're going to slow down as we input it, so I think that we need to be, like, a little closer, like there. This is not really a big distinction. I don't want to make it seem like this is a big deal, but yeah, it is worth noting. So, down B. Or, yeah, down B. There's one more thing that I think makes some amount of sense. It's a little weird, though. So, if you'll notice, you're actually, like, you actually kind of successfully get above him with your side B. When do you think you're actionable after doing it? Is this doing, like, full frame? So, 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 28, 29. So does that, how a side B1, I think, actually does have 29 frames of end lag. So, like, that actually does just hit you for doing that. I'm wondering, did we do this at the absolute maximum height? Yeah, we did. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty correct. I was wondering if we can maybe side B and, like, if we're actionable, I was considering up B'ing him if we actually do get above the back air.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, but it looks like we don't. That's okay. But I think that these two give us a lot to work with. The other thing that might make some amount of sense here is, if we do this double jump and he grabs the edge, what do you think will happen if we fast fall away from him?
He'll probably still swing and just whiff.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking we, like, fast fall like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Fox's ledge hop back air zone kind of, like, shoots up like this, right? Like, it's kind of like this area, sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, a little more like that. But, like, if we're getting past the line, then that's okay. So then I feel like this, like, using, like, this area of the move, like, effectively is, like, a pretty big deal. Because if we can avoid having to interact with, like, Fox's scary, like, zone, then, you know, we're quite happy with that. So I think that this like, recognizing the limitations of his, like, offense in this spot, if he wants to hit us up here, is, like, a pretty important part of the interaction. Because you'll notice, like, he doesn't even, like, necessarily use all this. Like, he really aims at, like, more, like, here. Like, behind here, right? So us fast falling away has a lot of power to it. I think that with these in mind, like, and after we go down here, we just up B, right? Yeah. Like, after we drop down, yeah. Okay, cool. So fast fall away, up B. And by not using our side B, like, if we don't use our side B, I feel like this has a lot more power to it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like, because we're, like, doing our reaction point, like, we're doing our up B all the way down here, we also have all of this space where we can also still down B. Like, from here to here, we can still totally do it. We can also air dodge at any point during here, although I don't know if it's, like, necessarily good, but, like, it is, like, a thing. So what I'm getting at is there's a lot more options here than, like, we might think, which is why I'm kind of, like, questioning if this is really that bad of a position, you know? I don't think it's good, but I also don't think that we're, like, dead yet. Okay, so, like, what happens here? So what does he do? So he hits us with this nair. So this is a thing on defense that, like, we want to be mindful of. Like, he just hit us with, like, this ASDI downed nair. Sorry. Oh, no, he Sakurai angled it. Yeah, so we were, like, actually crouch canceling or something. Or maybe we didn't hold down. I don't know. Let's see here. Do you think we held down or not?
Probably not.
Okay. So this would be another thing. Like, when we see Fox coming in like this, what should we be doing?
Holding down.
With what stick do you think will be easier for you to hold down with?
The C stick.
So what you can do is, like, you see how you're running away. As he gets to about here, you could just slide the control stick, which you're holding forward, down. So that's, like, an option. Do you think the C stick will still be easier?
To be honest, I haven't really, I don't do this actively, so I haven't really experimented with it enough, I think, to say.
Okay.
I just know that I've heard of different players who are good, like holding down on the C stick while dash dancing to get that ASDI down.
So I would actually consider that more of an advanced input than this, because this one we're just going from here to here. Like, this is like we're already like this dash is already like an active input. So it's like already a part of like the input, like it's already a part of like our control scheme in this moment. So we're not really like adding anything really like novel. We're just changing, like we're just adding a little bit more to the thing we're already doing. So I almost find that that's almost always easier compared to like adding something new. Having said that, you are right. A lot of players do handle this in the way you're describing. In which case, we're going from like neutral to like a downwards position, like so. So you could also hold this preemptively. Like there's pros and cons here. So like pros of this one, easier to do on the fly. Easier on the fly. With this one, I would say with this one, the pros can be done in advance. Can be. There's also there are downsides. Yeah, in advance. There's downsides to these things too, though. Like with this one, you have to actually manually time an input, so that would be like its drawback. This one, it requires us to use our thumb or part of our hand in order to maintain this input. So even though we are doing it preemptively, there is still a commitment we're making to it, which is just the use of one of our fingers. So there's pros and cons, but I would say this is absolutely something we want to get good at recognizing. What would you say is a good indicator that we want to go for this? Fox just narrated us from here, so he's doing this. How do we know that this is a hold down position?
I guess I would say when I see his jump squat, maybe even before that, when you see the dash in and you don't have the room to run away.
Yeah, so dash back won't dash. He's too close to dash back.
Yeah.
Too close. No, too close to for dash back. That is huge. What's another indicator that lets us know that we probably need to hold down here instead of doing something else? What if we were at 900? Would we be able to do this?
No.
All right, so percent. So percent. All right, one last thing. Is there anything else you can think of that would possibly indicate that we maybe want to hold down here a little bit, hold down and grab him here a little bit more than usual?
The first thing that came to mind is that he's naring, but I guess I don't know his percent. I'm just kind of guessing.
Nair makes sense. I would also say we're moving towards the edge. Yeah, because moving to edge. Because the reason the edge is important is because he's more likely to overshoot it. We don't have as much room to run away, so it is likely we're going to be interacting with his actual action. Because we just don't have this the luxury of space to just avoid it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just he's too close. It's just also we don't have the space to retreat further. So on this one, let's see here. What happened here? So on this, we swung really early.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to jump here, you think?
So this is something I've started to do more. I feel like I've had some success. I feel like an old misconception I used to have is that just being in center stage is good enough. And now I've kind of realized you need to actively defend it and prevent them from getting there. So this is kind of something I feel I've had some success with against some foxes, where I kind of am bullying them and just kind of keeping them from getting off these kind of side platforms with fair.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with like attacking him here. I'm just wondering if how
Mhm.
we're doing it isn't necessarily the best way to do it. So like we can agree that like his approach angle looks something like this.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So my issue with how you're doing this is that you are like look at where you're jumping, right?
Yeah.
I like how do we, because he can basically like he could also fast fall at around here too, right? Like like this is basically not fast fall versus fast fall, right? Something like that.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe it's actually steeper than that. It's probably like this. Cool. Either way, this is kind of what he's working with. My issue is that we're like by having Marth fade away at the end of this, we're like staying in his like attack territory. So like imagine if you had like, because I think like the purpose of this fair is not that we're trying to outspace him. It's like we cover the option and then we advance under him. So like how this would look is we come back, we fight him, like when this happens, instead of doing this jump back, we jump forward so we're here instead. We still covered this zone, and then if we miss, what do we do?
You just land and wait for him to whiff.
Yeah, so instead of here, we're here. So we're like, this is our one. So let's actually like map this out. We're going to make us this color, and this is our one. So he's going to be over here. We'll make him yellow, because I feel like it. And let's start. So this is him starting on one. He comes over here. Where do you think he lands, realistically? Do you think he lands here, or do you think he lands over here?
I guess to the right.
So this one?
Yeah.
Cool. So where do we, after we do this, because this is like his starting point, so this is his 2, where do we go? Where do you think we would have gone here in this hypothetical? We probably would have gone here? Here? Help me.
I guess probably like just to the right of 1. Or I guess if that's our, oh, sorry, so that's like the new starting point. So yeah, I guess like just to the right of center of the platform.
Like here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this would be our 2, which makes sense. And then the idea here is, I guess, that with him being over here, we're then able to like kind of like work our way. Like if we could probably just attack him at this point, right? Like we can, or not attack him, but like engage, like advance into his territory, or like play our dash dance, right?
Yeah.
And this seems like, I feel like this seems a lot better than staying in his like threat zone, because now we're playing like our dash dance at like our a pretty standard mid-range spacing, which Marth quite likes, and it certainly like means that we're not under as much pressure. Meanwhile, on his end, what he's had to do is like he's left this platform, he's gone here, so he's done like this, and now like what do you think he now has to make a decision? And I kind of think that he doesn't like this, because the way I look at this is that if Marth is here and they're both playing neutral, he has to make a decision on whether he thinks the Marth will overshoot him if he goes this way, or whether he can get away with attacking the Marth this way. But like either way, he has like problems. He can also go to the top platform, I suppose, but like that doesn't really solve his problem. It just kind of like puts it off, you know? So, how do we know that it's probably, I think we can agree it's safer to play this one as opposed to this one. What, like this spot as opposed to this spot, how do we know that's safer? Like how can we pick that out from this situation so we can replicate it?
I think it's just being more aggressive with the spacing, in the sense that like if jumping at him with the move is kind of like denying these like I don't know, like aerial drift options he has, by just kind of like meeting him there with it, and then also providing that safety, like if we do whiff, then like he's further away. Whereas the way I jumped was more just like kind of hoping that he drifts drifts full out and lands in to it.
Exactly. Like by faring forward, we're getting under, like by going under. Yeah. So we're getting under the short hop. We're going below the short hop and aerial line off the platform here. And by doing that, we're also then able to, like, position under... Like, let's say he doesn't leave the platform. Let's say he just short hops in place or something, or, like, dash dances on it, right? If he does that, and we're here and land here, like, he'll land around here, then he still doesn't have, like, a clear play, because, like, we're going to advance forward. If he shield drop back here, he's opening himself up to, like, us dash dance grabbing him. We have the option to just beat him out with our short up air or short up nair, like at a good angle, or even short up fair. Like, we have a lot of ways of, like, playing under here if he stays up here that are quite good for us. If he goes to top platform, again, because we're like landing here and then underneath him, we can then still full hop up and chase him if we want to, or stay under him. We're just, like, by not having to deal with this threat, we just have so much more freedom with where we go next. Yeah, exactly. See, this makes sense. I feel like this is a part of defense that, like, I feel like playing in those spots is a big part of why you find your defense costs you, because I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about how this situation plays out, and if this comes up, this is, like, if you go for these kinds of, like, plays where we just, like, pull back every time, it's really easy for him to out-position you and, like, probably get pickups in spots that you shouldn't be allowing. On that note, why are we holding into on Fox when he's wave shining us?
No good reason.
Yeah, like, this is an ASDI, like, he just drilled us at 0, and, like, this was a free grab. Like, this was an ASDI down grab. Even if we don't go for that, like, we could easily just, like, hold away and, like, not take, like, you know, an up air after this, you know? So there were, like, 2 lines of play that were quite safe from, like, direct follow-up, and I feel like, yeah, like, I feel like we missed on both of them. It happens, but, like, what do you think? Were you just, like, worried about up throw?
I think I just wasn't thinking, to be honest.
Okay. So at what point do we know that we have to hold away versus hold away and, like, option select Amsa-Tech? At what point do we know that that's, like, a thing that we're gonna have to do?
I guess, I mean, as soon as the drill hits, I should probably be already, like, trying to SDI away.
No, we're not. We're, like, we're trying to avoid SDI. Like, SDIing away is a good thing to do, but the second that drill hits, what I feel is even more important, if we haven't hit it on that, is to get the next input ready, like the ASDI down and the holding away.
Okay.
Like, sorry, the actually no, it would be ASDI down to option select tech stand. Yeah, so we actually can't DI away once the shine hits. So, do you think that if we want to go, because you can, like, Amsa-Tech in place and then grab him out of the up smash that comes. You can also hold away, which prevents the up smash from comboing, from comboing things, and plays around up throw a little bit better, I think. Like, it plays around up throw better. So those, I think, are your 2 options. So which one do you think would be better here? Like, do you want to play to, like, get the reversal, or do you want to play to mitigate damage?
I think the DI out is more I guess easier for me to implement.
Okay.
Like, I could do that today. But I do see the plus of the Amsa-Tech. The other thing is, like, I'm not I feel like having, like, I don't know, preparing, I feel like DIing out, like, not that it covers more, but I feel like the up smash, like, Amsa-Tech seems like such a specialized situation to me, where, like, I would have to, like, have too many, like, things on my, like, mental stack to be like, all right, I'm ready for this, like, mix up in that moment.
Agreed. It's more of, like, a late set kind of thing. I think that doing it game 1 is, like, would be very, very, very ambitious. So I think that DIing out, like, DIing out makes perfect sense. So let's see here. So, like, how do we know to do that? So I would say Fox drilled. Fox dared. We also have, you're at 1, no, hit at 0. Yeah, because, like, you're at 0% getting hit by this. And then, yeah, wave, we then see the wave. No, we also have the platform above us. So we don't want to like miss the DI. Yeah, I think this makes sense. We're going towards the edge of the stage too, right? So like we're so low that like even like he doesn't really get like a. If we go this way, I feel like we sometimes get up aired like 8 times, but going this way, I feel like he never really gets anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe like we're we're gonna up throw will. Yeah, we're gonna be pushed to the edge. Shine puts close to edge. Shine moves us close to edge. Yeah, because the platform's almost not even relevant here. Like it's like it is a factor, like below platform.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's not really like the big factor here. It's everything else going on that's like more important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what? That's actually neat because I wouldn't have picked up on that previously, but it is that is what it is. So this is good. This is good. Okay, offense. We know that you're like gotten better at offense. Although this is like a month old. It's all whatever. Totally fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is KevBot?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, KevBot is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, Philly has gotten
cracked.
Yeah, I mean, like, KevBot, Logan is like the new, like, winner's final matchup every week.
Gotcha. So on this one, what do you think you're doing right now? Like, what are you getting ready for? I see the buffer roll, but what's the plan here? You're smash DIing, clearly.
Mm. Yeah, I think like that's kind of just my like the second I get like hit with this is just like hope to escape. So like SDI roll or SDI like dash out, whatever I can kind of get.
Gotcha. I would hold your block more in those spots. Because like
Okay.
this like drills are unsafe and he keeps like drills are often unsafe, especially if they've been staled at all. The fact that he's going for so many of them, like, is a reason for us to, like, hold our ground way more. I mean, this was another situation as well, where, like, we're not ASDIing down. Because, like, we get hit in a second here. Same situation, right? So, like, if we just apply the same reasoning that we did with the first one, like, this is the same situation, we can, like, we can correct, like, that spot, too. I do like that you held down on the back air. On that one, what happened there? What do you think happened with like missing this grab through? Just too fast, or?
This one right here where I grabbed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just missed my dash back.
Gotcha. Okay. Defense, the biggest thing I'm noticing though is that like when we're getting like chased into positions where like when we're doing like any sort of passive action, we want to like get into the habit of holding down or being ready to hold down. So like when you're going for shield grabs and stuff, or like just holding down is like a good thing to do after you input the grab. It'll just allow you to like have, oh my god, what happened to us? Okay, let me focus on this. Okay, so we get hit up thrown, we don't DI, we're below him. Okay, we're holding in. No! Okay, so if we get this fair, and after this sequence, I think we have to just go for the grab, because, like, we're so behind, but, that needs to be something that we, like, consider going for. But let's actually talk about, like, some of these things. So, what is the plan? When you see a fox, like, up through you like this, what's the plan for your DI?
So... I guess funny enough, I've seen the guide you made like
okay
like a long time. So I guess my
Yeah, but we've like also come further than demo Kirby. Like, come on, we've got like 20 years of innovation, and like we're still using demo Kirby. We're better than that.
I mean, hold behind him and then SDI the other way.
Yeah, but in this situation, we've missed the DI because Fox's throw is super fast, so we can't realistically expect to hit the DI every single time, can we?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the SDI coordinates are?
No.
Okay, let me show you something.
Mm.
So, this is our controller gate. Yeah, this is our controller gate. What the SDI coordinates are in a couple of spots. So, don't mind me, I'm just making lines. Okay, cool. So, with that in mind, let's now make some more lines. Fill, outline, yeah? Let's do green, actually. No blue. Okay, cool. So, this is about halfway through. Maybe like more like this, and we'll just let me go a little like that. So this is one unit, like one SDI unit. So what this means is if our stick is starting in somewhere in here, like in the box, and we like pass this point here, that would be 1.
Yeah.
So there are other points, though, that are important. So there's here and here. There's here and here. There's here and here.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So, and do you know what these correspond to?
So, I mean,
the dead zones.
Yeah. But I think like the way I kind of do is like I exit that spot and then I try to hit like a cardinal direction and like quarter circle.
Yeah, so what I would say here is the way I do it usually on Fox up air is like I kind of go here, and then I wiggle here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you're making the Nike logo and then just kind of like going back and forth. The reason for that is you can do it in like any of these directions. Like you can do it either side. It depends kind of on the Fox, how they drift, stuff like that. But yeah, like the idea here is that we're just trying to like avoid his second hitbox. So like you see how it hits us here, and the next one's gonna come this way. Yeah, it's like boom boom. Yeah, the second one's over here. So I think that because the second one comes like on this side of him, it usually makes sense to go this way if we're in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like in this situation we want to go to the left. So go left here, go left. But aside from that, like I think that it sounds like you understand it. What way do you think you're DIing it right now? Like in this spot, what do you think you're doing?
I think I probably DI to the right.
Yeah, you do. You actually get the input too. You see that, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if we had gotten that going to the left, you'd be all the way over here. So you get out. So one thing is SDI the way he's facing.
Yeah.
So yeah, SDI the way he's facing, the way Fox faces when we fail the DI. No, when up throw not DI'd. That's something that Demo Kirby would not be able to teach you, sadly. Although I do think I need to update that guide. I think I will make that a project at some point, but I think, yeah, too many other things on the go.
Yeah.
So after that, we get hit by this, like, so we come down with this fair. Let me ask you, what could we have done instead of coming down with that fair?
So this is something I think I've gotten better at recently. I think I would probably mix up. I don't remember if I double jumped yet, but like I would.
You still have
try
your
to
jump.
mix up, but like side B, and I usually try to time it like right before they hit me, and then or double jump are like the two I feel like I go to try and escape and like land.
Those are all great. There's one thing I want us to consider here based on how he's moving. So like we're like hit here. This is all happening. You've done this fair. He's basically moved empty jumped directly underneath us. What if we fast fall dared?
Yeah.
Like fast fall dare grab, you know? Because, like, I feel like Zane does this a lot. Like, Zane does stuff like that a lot, and nobody ever really talks about it. Because, like, but Zane is so good at using Marth's down air in disadvantage. And it's such an important part of his kit, because he doesn't really have, like, an alternative that hits below him. But it's still, like, incredibly disjointed. It's still powerful. So I think that, like, for me, especially on FD, like, that's gotta be something I'm considering. Because Fox at 10, we get a down air on him, like, falling. Like, we just grab him at that point. Like, we're so happy about that. And, you know, can Kevbot, like, play around that? Yeah, probably. But, like, if we don't represent the threat at all when we're aligned for it, like, man, what are we doing, right? So Fastfall Dare, I think, is an option. What were the other ones? You said you have, like, your side, like, you could use your side B. You could use your double jump. What other things could you do? Like, let's say, what's the purpose of those in this kind of, when you're aligned like this?
I mean, the hope is to get him to swing, I guess, in a direction so that I can kind of, like, go the other direction and get to the ground.
Couldn't we just do that with down air?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What were you saying?
I mean, especially with the qualifier that he's aligned like this, that's something I wasn't really considering, I think, at this point. So I think, like, that's I see with the, like, explicit qualifier that, like, he's directly below us. I can see why those options aren't as powerful as just kind of dropping it down there. Or not like as powerful, but I can see how the need to, like, introduce fastball down there is particularly strong.
Yeah, so I would say there's two things that, like, make me say down air, because the other option here is counter when you're, like, directly above Fox like this, in my opinion. It's that we're directly above Fox, but there's also Fox entered this space in lag. This space in lag. Because it's not like he dashed into this spot, he jumped, right? So he's got the 4 frames of auto cancel working against him, which is why I think that's why he's, like, hanging out on the ground here and, like, crouching and waiting for us to come down. This would also hold true if he wave dashed. So I think that, like, how Fox entered this space is really, like, how Fox entered this space. So when we see him empty jump or wave dash, like, those are, like, jump, like, aerial or wave dash, that usually is a good indicator that he's looking to up tilt afterwards. Because he's, like, because he's made it harder, he's slowed down any aerials he could come up with. If he's dashing, he doesn't have that restriction. He can technically jump whenever he wants. So that's kind of, like, how I view this. Same thing with if he shielded, right? Like, if he entered this space with shield, that would indicate to me that he's, like, probably more interested in, like, fighting. So I would probably drift away in that situation a little bit more. I think that once that up tilt hits you, that's really where you're screwed. Because, like, it's all of this, like, is like, it's so hard to get out of any of this once that up tilt connects, because, like, there's no good place to DI anymore. Like, if you go this way, he's just going to keep naring you and do the edge and shine you off stage. By going here, he can, like, just keep doing what he's doing. So we've kind of trapped ourselves. He actually messed up that combo, I think. He wanted to nair you forward and up air or up smash. But, like, it doesn't really matter because there's just so little counterplay once Fox starts dribbling you. So that denying that up tilt absolutely has to be of, like, paramount importance, because even if he shields and you go for the down air, if he, like, if he shines out of shields and, like, wave shines you into a grab, that's manageable. Like, you can deal with that level of offense. But what you can't deal with is getting dribbled by nairs, by, like, shuffle nairs in, like, the perfect height. Like, there's no at that point there's nothing you can do. This was the same situation we had earlier. So this, like, like, just DIing away on things like that will do wonders for you. That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah.
When you see Fox miss a move like this in front of you, why are we running away? Like, like that's one thing that I think we need to be more, like, mindful of. Like, I feel like when you reset to neutral in scraps that have actually, like, swung in your favor, like, that is some, like, picking up on that happening needs to be something that that we get more consistent at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, let's explore that down tilt one. So how do we know that this? How do we know that, like, because it's after this, I think. Yeah, here, boom. Because he goes for the down tilt and we fair. So when are we like checking to see what we do? Like where do you think the reaction point is?
I guess like right here when I'm actionable.
Yeah, because like we have had plenty of time. Like we've just landed. We can't do anything right now anyway. So like we're probably watching here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I feel like you're acting a little bit sooner than you need to. You're reacting to something that has happening before, like I feel like you're reacting to something that is happening before the move actually misses you.
Yeah.
So like, do you think it would be like? Do you think that it's where where do you think that? What thing do you think that is?
That I'm trying to react to.
Yeah, or is that just a habit? Maybe like the dash
I think
back
it's
here.
just a habit to land with an aerial and then just dash back if it didn't hit.
Gotcha. Land aerial dash back. Okay, so we have to be watching what he's doing when we're entering that zone then. Because that's really what's going to that's what's going to tell us whether we do that or not. So what tells us that we don't actually like do this dash back? What move is he doing?
Down tilt.
Right. So don't dash don't dash back. Back on whiff. On his whiff, and then the thing is down tilt. So how do we know that he's going to down tilt? Like what indicators do we have that he's going to be probably doing a more laggy action to help us prime for this? How did he enter this zone? He ran forward and
crouch.
Exactly. So we can do entered with running crouch. And then down tilt. Because yeah, like this is really what it boils down to. Like we're like acting on things that we don't have to, so we need to build recognition. And I think that like picking up what movement he's doing to like enter that zone is going to be like the most effective way to do that. Like because it primes us for what he might do. Because we know that then like he's not as likely to do aerials, because if he wanted to do aerials, he'd just jump over and do them.
Yeah.
Just fox things. So what's going on? Let's talk about this one. Why are we ledge dashing? Like, why are we ledge dashing when he's full hopping above us?
I think I was trying to aerial and I might have just messed up the input.
That looks...
Actually, no, I ledge dashed it.
That is definitely a ledge dash.
Yeah. Then I guess I wasn't... I guess like right now, like I almost play it like it's just kind of like a mix-up instead of like kind of really watching him and doing something.
Okay.
So like I'm kind of just ledge dashing, hoping that like I'll sneak past him.
Yeah. So here's a thought on that. Maybe we need to what is the mix-up here? Like, what are the different options you're doing, and how do they work together?
Right now, I think I have counter, which will beat him doing an aerial.
That's true. What's your most powerful option off the ledge? Like, what's the thing that people have to respect or they lose to it?
Just jump fair.
Right. Why don't we start with that? So, because jump fair creates like this giant wall in front of us that the opponent can't really do a whole lot about until they just have to like let us do it or like deal with it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we have this giant wall that protects us. So we have our fair. And the thing is, like, it can be done, like, further back, too, where we can, like, grab the edge. Like, we can be over here. Yeah. So it's adjustable, right? Like, we have a certain amount of, like, wiggle room with it. And I think that's really important to acknowledge because it allows us to, like, it doesn't mean that, like, it's just a matter of, oh, he's going to fair. They also kind of have to know, like, what kind of fair in some ways that we're going to do. Because we could do it here, we could do it, like, moving back, we could do it in place, we could do it onto the stage. Like, we've got tons of ways of doing this fair. When the opponent keeps... I think this is what he's playing around, which is why he's keeping, like, a very specific distance. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of, like, doing, like, this. Right? Because he doesn't want to get hit by the edge of it. So what does that mean in terms of what space has opened up for us? Where can we move because he's, like, not... because he's avoiding this line?
You can just get straight on the edge there.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely we can. So that should probably be one of our main mix-ups, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Because, like, if this fair is our 2, and he's going here on his 2, like, his starting position is, like, here. So then this is his next spot. So our, like, as the person being edge guarded, our options look a little bit more like, oh no, I shouldn't use that one, I'll use this one. So we're starting here at 1. This fair, these fairs are 2, but we can also go on stage for this 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, this is, like, and what are some ways that we can make this ambiguous? Because I'm thinking we don't necessarily want to commit all the way to a waveland when we don't have to. We want flexibility here, right? How do you feel about nilling here?
That's good.
Yeah, because it lets us, like, also hang out with our fair more. Like, we can kind of, like, come here, go up, come down, and then, like, there's a convergence point here, like, around this space, this height, where we can fair, where we can still feasibly fair, but we don't have to. Like, we could fair onto the stage, we could, like, nil onto the stage, we can fast fall back to the edge. So I think that I would say that nil, fair, and waveland in place. Mm-hmm. Like, these all need to be considerations, like fair, fairs, and wavelands. Like, I think this makes sense as a starting point. Because then, like, I think that this is, like, from this base, we can then start to see where things, like, counterfeit in. Yeah. Because, yeah, like, one thing that he might do about this is, like, come super close and just, like, spam stuff, trying to contest us, like, and fight back with crouch cancel, with ASDI down or something. Maybe not at 81, but, like, we've all seen, you know exactly what the play pattern I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in that kind of spot, that's where, like, things like down air, like ledge hop down air or counter can be quite valuable because they, like, deal with that. But it all stems from, like, this initial, like, structure of having something that's, like, relatively sturdy and requires them to do specific things to beat. And a common thing in the Jigglypuff matchup I find with this kind of structure is that Jigglypuff will kind of, like, hang out over here, right outside the fair range. Like, I'm sure we've all seen this here, and this is kind of why I like nil here, because we can just nil tipper her. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like this, the importance of this is, like, this is just kind of strong on its own, and then this leads to other options. So we're kind of using this to enable this. Mm-hmm. Would you say that is this similar to what you're trying to do here, or, like, what are your, like, how do you organize your options right now, or is it just kind of vibes, or, like, what's the like, yeah?
It's kind of like, so, like, I feel like I do have fair is kind of like a level 1, and then I find, like, that if they start, like, shielding or, like, crouch canceling it, then I'm gonna try and just, like, sneak past them with ledge dash.
Do you ever, like, if they shield close enough to the edge, do you ever just nair through them?
No.
That would be something I'd consider, because it gives you another threat that you can do in that kind of position. Because, like, if they're shielding close enough so that you can actually cross them up with the second hit of nair, that I think is a very strong play.
Yeah.
So cross up nair is, like, absolutely something I'd look into. Okay, so we DI'd to the side there. Let's go. So what happened here? So we fared out. We did that down air way too late. We have to go. So like again with Marth, because Marth is all about timing in these spots. Like you sometimes are going to have to take like a down air that isn't going to combo too much, like as part of your like as part of getting out of like disadvantage state. Just because you need his attack to like beat what the opponent is doing. Like you're just banking on the disjointedness of the move bailing you out, which means the entire system is based on timing. If we happen to get reward hype, but like that's not the point of why we're doing those swings. And that's like I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. All in all, though, the biggest things I'm seeing here, we need to be more consistent about DIing the throw at like low %.
Yeah.
Which is like recognizing we're getting shined and then like holding away, or like recognizing we've missed something and we're gonna get grabbed. Like those two things I think are like really big. The other thing that stands out to me is that like holding to the side versus like when we are smash DIing things, or like when the opponent misses next to us, the general plan is almost always to like back off, but like the opponent has just like, you know, they've just dropped something really critical right in front of us, right? Or we've like scored good defense, because I think there was one drill where like because you like missed getting hit by a hit, it messed up his like shine timing after, and like we're not contesting people, like we're still like just going back into shield and like then buffer rolling. Like even if you stay in shield, that's okay, because you can still look for like a grab. Like you could wave dash, you could look for a grab like on the next hit that touches your shield. Like you have things that going on, but we're not capitalizing on them because we're like just autopiloting. Like we're just automatically going into like the dash back to like reestablish neutral, but the opponent has just whiffed something in front of Marth. Like get him.
Yeah.
The other the other big thing is just we're putting ourselves in spots where like it's possible for him to hit us, where I don't think that we should where it should necessarily be that easy. The big one is like the jump zone thing, like the fact that we're like retreating, but it's not really like retreating is safer. It's more like retreating is usually safer because it avoids the opponent's line based on distance, but by moving when the opponent's above us or like on a different plane of us, plane to us, it's the line is also isn't just the line isn't there's more than one way to avoid the line in those spots. Like one thing that we didn't really talk about in the first diagram we made is that the third diagram we made, the one with the yellow 1 and 2 for the fox. You could consider full hop fairing there, because you just go above the line. Because like if you think about where his line puts him, right? Like if he short hop aerials at Marth there when Marth is going up with full hop fair, like he can't really like attack into that zone. He has to basically come down, or so that like that's the kind of spot where like full hop fair could actually work quite well. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Like it's weird, but it works. So what happened on this stock? How did we die? So this is good, like this. How did we take all this damage, though? So we're getting... This is happening. We get shined. Cool. Can you see some of the, like, spots that were, like, some of the DI spots where we could be holding down on certain hits and stuff, like, happening here? That one was good. Like, that one was very good. Let's see here. Counter. Yeah, like you're really like you have a good sense. Like I can see the kind of like the vision for like the mix-up system, but like I guess my concern with counter in some of these cases is that like to me counter kind of like does the same job as like a fair in a lot of spots. Because like if he's doing this, why not just like fair? Like I guess my question is why not fair or up air him, right? Like why counter if we can just up air him and kill him?
Yeah.
So I think that like where do you think counter in the system we're talking about where like fair is the level 1 and we use like up like we use like we kind of use it to like set the tone of things. Where do you think counter fits into that system?
I guess it's kind of when I guess it is kind of doesn't really like it's kind of just like a different worse rock
Well, no, don't give it. No, hey, let's not say things we can't take back. I view it more as scissor. I view it more as like paper, really,
Mm.
because I feel like, or like scissors, actually. Yeah, scissors. So the reason, like, so fair is rock, right?
Yeah.
What can someone do proactively that beats fair, or that is good versus fair?
I mean, like crouch cancel. I feel like I see people do quite well. Um,
Sure.
or just shield.
I feel like shielding is like kind of a throw there though, because like we just nair instead. So like, and or we can just do the fair late going through them. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know if it's shielding that's the issue. I would say like, what if the opponent has more range than our fair?
Mm.
Like that to me is the bigger problem. Like, what if we're fighting, say, like 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 Falco or Ganondorf, right, or Peach, and she's doing turnips? Like to me, those are the things that like our fair is going to have problems against. And yeah, like when the opponent has more range than us on a limb, like Ganon fair or something, fair like counter kind of steps up, or it happens a lot in the Marth mirror, right? Because we try to come up with fair, they just down tilt us or F smash us.
Yeah.
So like that's where counter I feel like really shines. I feel like Drew's Puffet comes up a good amount too for the same reason. Like even though like it's close, but yeah. So that's why I kind of view it as like paper or scissors, because it's just what it does is it provides an out to them just like continuing to like hammer back with rock,
Mm.
or like or their anti-rock.
Yeah.
And like, and I think that when we think of it that way, we can see that like counter actually does have a really important role sometimes, but like it's just not. It shouldn't be our go-to option, just because yeah, like a lot of things that you're doing with the counter here, I think, can also just be done with like fairing with like better placement on fair.
Mm-hmm.
But there are going to be spots where like a nice smash. Yeah, let's go. That was good. You are playing better this last game. I think that it might also be like the... Yeah, no, that's good. So yeah, he's not going for as many up airs, probably because he's smashed it a bit, and he's just like taking like safe routes. Makes sense. He's up 2-0. Why? So this one. So we get up through a backyard here. Why are we like entering the ground in tumble?
I
Do you
guess
know?
because I'm not very good at like thinking about wiggle out.
So fair. No, like fair or down air. Like no fair, like fair, or like just do any like probably just fair before landing. Like I assure you, the 7 frames of L cancel plus the sword in front of you will be less bad than going into tumble.
Mm-hmm.
Like if nothing else, it will be better than that. So I would say like this is also a situation. Even if you're bad at wiggling out, literally just push a button. Because any button you push cannot be as bad as giving Fox an unearned knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, what buttons could we push here? Fair is an obvious one. What else could we do?
I mean, you could tech.
Let's not tech, because that's still the same problem.
Yeah,
We're just, like, giving him
true.
a free 26 to 40 frame opening. We don't want to do that, so let's find something else.
I mean, you said down there.
Mm-hmm. Side B?
Yeah.
Yeah. When do you think we do the down air? Like, what's the purpose of the down air, do you think?
I don't want to say like protect your landing because it's so far away, but I could just see it as like a um, what's it called? Just like a to just something to do to land.
Auto cancel
So-
before 6.
Oh.
Right? So from here to here, we will auto cancel before this point. Do you have is there any that are faster? Auto cancel before... Nope. So this is our best one. You could also just nair. Nair is actually probably better, because nair, auto cancel before 6, and you just have to tap A. That makes some amount of sense. So yeah, let's say like nair or down air, but probably down air. And the idea is that like how high do you think, like where do you think you'd have to be for those to work? Like how high off the ground?
I guess like just at like your kind of typical jump height, or like short hop. I'm
Like
just thinking like the height I would think of to auto cancel there.
oh no, we want to be way lower than that. We want to be like remember, it has to be like in 5 frames. We have to nair in 5 frames or fewer for us to auto cancel. Like the purpose of this nair is not that we get a hitbox out, it's that we just get out of tumble.
Okay.
So like I'd say between there. Because yeah, nair/dare, and the idea is that like nair/dare to AC land. Because this at least, like, we don't have the, like, this takes away our ability to wave land, which is, like, part of the advantage of wiggling. But, like, fair has a hitbox. Like, we're using the fair for a hitbox, basically. And to get out of, like, tumble. The side B is, like, similar, except we also waft in the air. Hitbox and, like, hitbox/hover. Hover. And there's kind of a timing mix-up, weirdly enough, to side B, too. Because you can also just, like, let the move run, right? Like, you don't have to just do one hit, so you can actually, like, hitbox, timing mix-up, and then hover. Like, you see what I mean here? Like, there's, like, because you've probably seen people like Kadora in, like, side B here in this spot versus, like, Donkey Kong, for example. And then just kind of, like, move forward with it. Because, yeah, the multi-hit is actually kind of difficult for, like, some Dash Dance characters to punish if you're starting, like, with sufficient room. But the point of these is just so that we don't have to go into knockdown. Like, the whole point of this is deny knockdown. Deny tech/knockdown. Because, like, the last thing we want to do is give Fox things that he hasn't earned, because he's going to get enough free shit just for being himself. We don't have to add to that. Yeah. So, I know this is a lot, but I think that there were useful things here. What are your thoughts? Like, what are your thoughts on how today went, and like, what are you going to take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is the defensive stuff we discussed. I mean, and like, some of these things, like, I think, like, I'm already kind of like working on in a way, but like like when we were discussing fair towards the platform instead of, like, kind of away from it, that's kind of, like, I feel like a path along that whole being more aggressive with their aerials, like we discussed. And I think we've also kind of talked about some, like, of these ledge option stuff, so, like, that that's, like, another thing that, like, kind of needs more solidification as opposed to, like, brand new stuff. So yeah, I think I'm really gonna work on some of this, like, defensive things and being more aware of, like, my DI and, like, I guess, like, where I should be, like, recognizing situations that I should DI in a particular way, or, like, know that, like, it's going to be upcoming.
Yeah, so one thing I would say about the ledge hop fair stuff, and, like, the level 1, like, making a better level 1 with that, is listen for Marth's gasp when he grabs the edge. Because that's, listen for the gasp Marth makes upon grabbing the edge, because that's what determines the cliff weight. That it has occupies the cliff weight frames. So if you ever want, like, so you know how, like, with ledge dashing is sometimes hard, like doing ledge options in general is sometimes hard, because it's like, when do I let go of the edge? I've been hit off stage, I'm recovering from a weird angle, like, how do I know, right? Yeah. This is how you know, because the gasp occupies the duration of the cliff weight frames. It's a standard audio cue that every single character has. So the second you hear Marth, like, finish, like, going, or whatever he does, that's your cue that you can act immediately. The instant it's done, you can go. So this will give you more intangibility on your fairs and your nils and stuff, which then in turn makes your level 1 a lot stronger. So then, like, it's easier to, like, use the fair more generously in the like, across all the situations it's supposed to be used in. And then, like, allows you to use the exception case moves, like up air, like down air, like nair, like counter, in the spots where they're actually needed. Because that's really the goal here. We want, like, you want to cover, the name of the game with ledge options is you want to cover as much as you can with as little as possible. Yeah. The other thing I would say here is, like, practice recognizing spots where you're going to need to prep DI Fox, e.g. Fox hitting with drill or shine. And the last one is build implementation of ASDI down using the control stick method, the control stick or C stick. No, control stick method or C stick methods. You'll find that there's actually like situations where one's easier than the other. It's up to you. Like, it's ultimately up to you. What's comfortable. Like, do what's comfortable. What's comfortable. What feels right. What feels successful. What feels like you can be consistent with it. And yeah, like if you get stuck on any of this, again, I am around. Feel free to message. But is this enough to get you started?
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Wrinkle, take care, and let's play soon. If you're free this weekend, maybe we can run some games.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
All right, later.
Okay, see ya.